Hey, this is the Fight Nerd. I'm here now in California, of all places, far, far away from my home in New York City, here playing THQ's UFC Undisputed 3 video game, and I'm here with one of the creators now, Wes Bunn. Wes, how are you today?
I'm doing good, sir. It is kind of early, so getting woken up here, ready to talk about UFC.
And we're all completely jet-lagged and screwed up in the heads right now, but, so first thing we got to talk about, which is probably the most exciting news to come out of this game, Pride Mode. So you guys have Pride Fighting Championship. As the thing you can play, you've got Lenny Hart in the game. Let's just talk about what you can do with the Pride Mode here.
Well, Pride Fighting Championships is something that we've wanted to do since we've started on this franchise. I started back in 2006, and Pride was still around at that time, and we always thought, man, it would be cool if we could have those fighters in the UFC, and then the UFC bought Pride, and then those fighters started making their way over, and it's something that we've always wanted to do, and to get them in the game finally is a dream come true for us and for the fans, because when you play as the Pride fighters in UFC Undisputed 3, you'll play as them as in their heydays, in their prime. So yeah, basically you'll get to use Wanderlei Silva when he was just dominating everyone. So, and that's something the fans have been asking for, and it's very cool to get in there. You'll get to play with, it's like 30 or 40 Pride fighters, and they all have their movesets and stats at that time, and you'll be able to pit them up against UFC fighters. So you could take dream matchups, John Jones against Wanderlei Silva, and how would Brock Lesnar do in Pride? It's an interesting thing with soccer kicks and knees to the head and foot stomps and all that good stuff.
And of course, you guys do have Don Fry in his All-American trunks, which is awesome to see.
Mustache and all, yeah, he's in there.
Now, how does the Pride Mode integrate into the actual game itself?
Well, in Pride, you can actually go into an exhibition match and just have a one-off fight with Pride rules. And the difference between Pride and UFC, obviously, is that in Pride, you have the soccer kicks and the foot stomps and the knees to the head of downed opponents, which you can't do in the UFC. So it gives positions like sprawl and north-south a lot more opportunities to inflict a lot of damage, whereas in the UFC, you may just want to move to mount from side control because you can do more damage there. But yeah, you can do exhibition. It also you can also go into Pride in career mode. When you're playing through your career, you get offered to participate in a Pride tournament. And then we also have the Best of Pride Ultimate Fights. It's just something that we've gone and revamped this year. So the Ultimate Fights mode has undergone a lot of changes, and you can play through some of the classic Pride fights.
Now, you can't exactly have an open weight Grand Prix, but there are weight class groupings, if you will, here. So talk about how the weight classes are actually grouped differently than the UFC here in this game.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. We worked with Joe Silva, the matchmaker, to kind of determine which fighters should fight in each division. With Pride, there is no light heavyweight division. It's a middleweight division per se. So all the light heavyweight fighters in the UFC can fight at middleweight in Pride and fight against those fighters. So it's really kind of interesting to see the UFC fighters fighting with Pride gloves on and hearing their name being yelled by Lenny Hart. It's kind of surreal, actually. Every time I hear Lenny Hart talk about John Jones or Brock Lesnar with the screaming voice, it just makes me laugh because I never would have thought that would have happened.
All right, now, new for UFC Undisputed 3, you guys have some new controls, including a new way to do submissions in the game.
Yeah, we wanted to make this game a little bit more accessible for people to just pick it up and start playing and have fun. But we didn't want to alienate the hardcore audience too, so we kept the classic controls in there, so you still have your pro controls. But the alternate control scheme is for the guys that get in there and just want to bang it out, and when it gets into a clinch or on the ground, they're like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? So the new control scheme just allows you to flick up or down on the right stick to start performing transitions and get out of bad positions. And then the other thing that we heard from the fans, and again, this is something that we wanted to change too, but we weren't going to do it unless we found a system that we were really happy with, was the submission system. So we have a brand new submission system this year. It's a lot more technical than the previous submission systems that we've had in the previous games. The new system will allow you to actually it's a cat and mouse dynamic, and allows you to kind of misdirect your opponent when the submission HUD pops up. So essentially, as the attacker, you're trying to catch the defender who's trying to escape you. When the HUD pops up, you can kind of dictate where you start on the HUD by holding the right stick in a direction, with the goal of trying to overlap the defender's bar. So it's just a little bit of a cat and mouse, a lot more technical, and you're always clear on why you're winning or losing, which is big. In the past games, it was kind of a mystery. It was all done under the hood and through animations, but with this year, you'll always know.
Now, this game also has a ton of characters, and how many characters are total in this game?
There's 150 fighters across one
for every Pokemon.
across 7 weight classes. And then you have the Pride fighters and all them. So yeah, it's a lot of fighters.
How much DLC is planned going into, let's just say 2012 alone? How much DLC is planned?
Well, post-launch, we want to continue to improve the product and let the fans know how much we appreciate their support. So we do have several DLC plans currently. One of them is the DLC Fighters, obviously. And then if you go to our Facebook page, Undisputed Facebook page, you'll get Alistair Overeem for free. So check that out. You may want to do that, get a free fighter. But also the Ultimate Fights. We'll have some DLC Ultimate Fights to extend the life of the product. So.
How'd you guys manage to get Overeem into the game on such short notice? Because he's pretty new to the UFC now. So how'd you get that, though?
Well, we were working with Joe Silva in the UFC. We're kind of privy to some information, so we kind of had an idea that maybe he was going to be coming over. So working with him, it was something that we wanted to do. So we begged the UFC, and they made it happen, and we were able to get him in. So I'm excited.
Now, do you think we might see maybe the Strikeforce ring and Strikeforce fighters in a UFC Undisputed game?
That's something that we're always, looking into. We're keeping our eye on what the UFC is doing, and obviously they're on Fox now and have purchased Strikeforce recently. Again, that's something that we're always trying to keep in line with the UFC brand and what they're doing. May not make it for this game, but you never know in the future. We're always wanting to do what the UFC is doing.
All right, well, UFC Undisputed 3 comes out February 14th, is that correct?
Yep,
February 14th, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day Massacre. On all next-gen consoles, there you go. And Wes, thanks for your time.
Oh,
the game is great. I can't wait to play some more of it.
You.